Fantasy football news after really the biggest preseason debut for a lot of these NFL players. David Montgomery, Devin Singletary, N'Keal Harry. We're talking about some big name players that people have been looking out for, trying to figure out where are these guys going to be valued, whether it be as rookies or their future value in dynasty. We got a lot of answers, I think, in a very short period of time. It's important not to have knee-jerk reactions. What's going on, Antonio? What's going on, Poke? It's important not to have too big a knee-jerk reactions to preseason football. Let's be honest. What's up? But it's also important to recognize some patterns that we've been predicting. David Montgomery. What have we said over and over? That once he shined just a little bit, his third round value in shark leagues that you do, fourth round value in magazine drafts that you do, fifth and sixth round value in your grandma's league. That's all gone now. You may still be able to, in your very mediocre talent leagues where you got guys drafting out of magazines, you may still be able to get David Montgomery in third round value. But if you're in a shark league full of fantasy sharks that know what they're doing, say goodbye to your third and fourth round David Montgomery shares. That's gone. And that's something that I've been beating like a dead horse for a week now, for 2 weeks now. Leave a thumbs up on your way in, says Poke, and I agree. I'm here to answer some of your questions, but I do want to get to some of the news and notes, things that are going on around the league. First topic, David Montgomery. So already addressed a lot of that. Where do you draft David Montgomery? Do you say to yourself, like Kerryon Johnson, hey, the value's climbing too high. Do I take this guy at second round value? With Kerryon, I don't know that. I feel like Kerryon climbed too high. If you can get Kerryon Johnson in the third round, great value. If you have to take him in the bottom of the second because people are getting too amped, I think the ceiling value isn't quite there, I think, to warrant that pick. But David Montgomery, and I told you guys this for over a week, and I beat this like a dead horse. David Montgomery, I would pay 15 to 20 overall value for. I've said that for probably more than a week now, saying this guy will earn this value. And I've said since January he'll be a top 5 to 10 running back. So I gladly pay 15 to 20 overall value if I had to. And I said over a week ago in several videos, don't tell anybody, but I'd pay 15 to 20 overall value when that time comes, and that time is probably here. Now, if for whatever reason people don't react to David Montgomery and his one run, we could say, then great. I'm super happy he remains third round type material, because then we're going to clean up for another couple weeks or until he blows up again. Yes, I love Devin Singletary as well. We're getting to that topic in a second. Hazel wanted to let me know that he loves Montgomery, loves Hendy, and loves Harris. I love all three as well. Now, I get a lot of people that come at me and say, Smitty, you're just high on all these rookies. You know, you love every rookie. It is well known that I'm a big advocate of rookies. I'm a very dynasty-oriented person. A lot of my content is dynasty-driven. So, of course, I'm going to be very highly invested in breaking down rookies and talking about rookies. But I am not high on every running back. I'm not super high on Miles Sanders. I'm not super high. I'm not calling him a bust, but I'm not super high on Josh Jacobs. I'm higher on Damien Harris than I am Josh Jacobs. I like Damien Harris a lot. I think his situation will develop and he'll become a very good fantasy football running back down the stretch in 2019. I'm not super high on every single rookie, but I love rookies and what they bring to the table and how they can fill those gaps and voids where players are leaving the league. And you have players like N'Keal Harry coming in, potentially looking like, as I said in January and put up on the board here, would be a top 5 wide receiver for the future in 1 to 2 years, meaning entering his third year, N'Keal Harry would look that good. I still firmly believe that. N'Keal Harry is a special talent. I love Deebo Samuel. I think Deebo Samuel could be a top 10 fantasy football wide receiver in 1 to 2 years. That's 2 players. Oh my God. I love 2 rookies that much. I do. I love 2 rookie wide receivers that much. I think they will breach the top 10. One of them will be top 5. That will be N'Keal Harry. I love Deebo Samuel. Both these guys are must-haves in Dynasty if you're rebuilding. Now, the rookie running backs, all I heard from January to April was, Smitty, this rookie running back class is not nearly as good as the 2020. I'm not saying it necessarily is or isn't. I love the 220 class. We're going to get potentially 2 top 10 running backs from the 2020 class. But rookies replace the veterans. That is not uncommon. But I told everyone, while everybody's trading out of this 2019 NFL draft class for the 220, sacrificing a really high pick in the second or in the top 1 to 3 in this 2019 NFL draft class for rookie drafts, people were sacrificing their top 3 pick to get into any pick in the 220 class. I screamed, massive, massive mistake. What's going on, guys? What's up, Dylan? What's up, Sean? Massive, massive mistake. Don't trade out of a top pick in this draft class for a chance at a pick you don't even know where it is in 220. Because there are sleeping giant running backs in this draft class. You may not have a Zeke Elliott. You may not have a Saquon Barkley. But that doesn't mean you don't have a top 5 to 10 running back hiding in here, or 2 of them. Because look at David Johnson. Look at Alvin Kamara. Both those guys were hiding inside the 5 to 10 range in rookie-only drafts. If you were in a rookie-only draft, you drafted David Johnson outside the top 4. Probably more like 5 to 8. If you were in a rookie-only draft during the year that Kamara came out, you drafted him at 5 to 8, maybe 5 to 12. Some cases, second round. Those guys are absolute elite studs at the NFL level. As good as they get. And everybody's worried that we're worried that this draft class didn't have a couple of those guys hiding. Well, I've said it since January, David Montgomery is a top 5 to 10 dynasty running back. And in his rookie year, he will probably produce top 10 running back numbers. So to answer some of the comments you guys are probably talking about, where do you draft David Montgomery? If he's a top 10 running back in my eyes, even as a rookie, he is warranted in that second round. 15 to 20. Not a reach for David Montgomery. Is there risk attached to that? Will they use Cohen more? Is it preseason that we're getting too excited about? All of those things play into this. Sure. There's a risk for any running back. But rookie running backs like David Montgomery don't come around very often. And I see elite, he's a tackle-breaking machine, record-breaking machine from college. He shows signs of that not only the week before, or less than a week before this game last night, where he broke off that amazing touchdown run and showed everybody what he's capable of doing at the NFL level with his shiftiness, his left to right, his ability, his vision. Amazing vision for a rookie to find the end zone the way he did. He's a creative runner that will score touchdowns, double-digit touchdown potential even as a rookie. 1,200-yard potential on the ground as a rookie. Yes, Tariq Cohen will have a role, but guess what? Tariq Cohen isn't a big-time rushing running back. He's taking nothing away from David Montgomery between the tackles. They went to get him. They want David Montgomery in that role. And guess what? Even as a rookie, yes, he will develop into a better PPR guy as his career moves along. But David Montgomery will be very, very good in his PPR output as a rookie. I am not ruling out 30-something catches or more as a rookie. And that's a good rookie season pulling in the ball. So 1,200 yards, double-digit touchdowns. David Montgomery will earn you second-round value. I have no question about that. And man, in Dynasty, good luck getting him now. You're not going to sniff David Montgomery. If in redraft people are still sleeping behind the wheel, in Dynasty, no. You're not getting David Montgomery from anybody. You're not ripping him from anybody's kung fu grip. In redraft, maybe you still steal him. In Dynasty, no. Never. Say goodbye to David Montgomery in Dynasty if you ever had hope of trying to acquire him at any close to reasonable value. He's gone. And I did what I could for as long as I could Now, like I said, this one flash of brilliance and his value that we've been seeing, which has been a joke in best ball. You could grab David Montgomery in the 4th and 5th round in best ball drafts. You still see comments now, though, which gives me a little hope. You still see comments now where people go, let's not get too carried away. That's preseason football. Davis is going to be the between the tackles guy, and Tariq Cohen's not going anywhere. We still see people talking like that every once in a while, and that gives me hope that maybe there's still some value to be had on some level. But David Montgomery, say goodbye to great value. In best ball, say goodbye. You will no longer get David Montgomery at the 4th and 5th round value. You've been stealing away, highway robbery, just blasting people left and right in your best ball drafts. Just blasting them. That's gone. Absolutely gone. I'll answer one question and get back to the news. Hope I get worked up, guys. I'm not going to lie. Hope I have one of Jacobs, Montgomery, Henderson, Hunt, Darwin. I guess that's not a question, but nice work. Larry says, crush the thumbs up, gang. I agree. Thank you, Larry. Okay, let's get to it. So next topic. Andy Reid talking about Damien Williams. Let me put this up. Next topic, Damien Williams. I know. Everyone's going to freak out. And I'll admit, I know when to... I'm an objective person. You may not think I'm an objective type of person. You may think, oh, he sticks to his guns no matter what. That's not true. If I feel like there's a risky situation that's developing, then I'll tell you. And there is a bit of concern for Damien Williams. Not that I feel like Carlos Hyde is the answer. Not that I feel like Carlos Hyde is going to take away. It's Darwin Thompson that I think eventually you worry about. But I've always said cuff Thompson to Damien Williams. I've said from the beginning that if you go down the road of owning Nick Chubb, you go down the road of owning Damien Williams, you go down the road of owning Todd Gurley, you must handcuff appropriately. If you do not, you are not maximizing the potential to avoid risk at all costs, because situation is king with all three of them, and James Conner, all four. Todd Gurley, James Conner, Damien Williams, and Nick Chubb. Situation is king with all four of those. If you ignored that advice, then you didn't hear what I was saying, and you may have misstepped when it comes to Damien Williams. I love Damien Williams. I do. I still do. I still think Damien Williams has top 5 to 10 potential at the running back position in 2019. His only risk has been injury. Injury has kept him out of action, and he hasn't been getting the reps that he needs. That's made Reid mad. That's made the Kansas City coaching staff potentially look at talking running back by committee. Now, what does that really mean? To be completely honest, I don't think it means anything right now. It's coach speak, lighting fires. As soon as Damien Williams gets out there in this very complex system that they can't rip him from because Hyde or Darwin don't have enough knowledge about the system itself to replace Damien Williams in these complex schemes and plays, it's not going to matter what a coach says. Oh, I might use a running back in my committee. What does that even mean? That he wants to use a lot of his running backs. Darrell Williams, Damien Williams, Hyde. If anybody thinks that Darrell Williams couldn't be the guy, he could. And it's tough to cuff this situation. That's why I said if you were on a roster back when we were talking about whether you should draft Damien or not, if you were on a roster where you couldn't properly back him up, you probably should go in a different direction. Same with Nick Chubb, same with Conner, same with Gurley. But this offense will feed the running back, the starting running back, so much potential points and opportunity. It's okay if there's a little bit of a sharing situation. So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not freaked out about Damien Williams, but I own Darwin Thompson and the ability to maybe still pick up Darrell Williams because no one's going to grab him yet. to back up Williams properly. So any league I own Williams in, I'm backing him up properly. If I'm not, I'm worried, of course, because there's talk of a running back by committee. Right now, don't have a knee-jerk reaction and sell Damien Williams off for anything less than what you paid, which is 3.01 type value. Damien deserves that. If you've already invested, don't go running away from it. But you need to try and maybe pick up Darrell Williams. That's with one L. Pick up Hyde if he's there. Pick up Darwin Thompson. Make sure you're securing this from as many angles as you can, because situation is king here. The reason any one of these running backs is a top 5 to 10 running back is not because they're the most talented running back in the league. It's because situation is king, and situation is going to make this player, whoever it is, getting the majority and bulk of the carries, a top 5 to 10 running back. Kansas City is that potent. Kansas City will deliver those kind of numbers. The running back for the Kansas City Chiefs will be a monster. And right now, no one has a better opportunity or better grip on the job than Damien Williams, even still. But he better be backed up, or you weren't paying attention. Nick Chubb, same thing. Nick Chubb, I love Nick Chubb. What I love most is when I go on a rant about you must own Kareem Hunt. You must. It's idiotic to say you should not own Kareem Hunt. I love it. Every time in the comments, somebody talks to me like I'm a 4-year-old person and says, oh my God, Smitty, you know that Kareem Hunt's out 9 games, right? Like they're telling me something I don't know, like I don't research, like I'm not doing this for a living. It makes me it makes me laugh and it makes me angry all at the same time. I understand the stakes. I understand what's going on with Kareem Hunt. I'm not an idiot. I may be a little crazy from time to time, but I'm not an idiot. And I embed myself in the situation pretty thoroughly. And if you own Kareem Hunt, and you think for a second that it's smart to... if you own Nick Chubb, and you think for a second it's smart to walk down into week 10, 11, and 12 with a team that just let go of Duke Johnson, and that increases Chubb's value at the surface. But if you think it's smart to walk into weeks 10, 11, 12, not having the guy, one of the only players in the NFL that would replace his starting running back and maybe even improve numbers, if not make them exactly the same. If you think it's not worth rostering a guy for 9 weeks that won't play to secure yourself top 5 to 10 running back numbers, I can no longer help you. I just can't. I'm very sorry to tell you that, but I can no longer help you. Because the duo together helps you sleep at night. The duo together safeguards your top 12 to 14 overall pick in Nick Chubb and allows you to walk into your season saying, well, yeah, if injury happened beforehand, and you might want to look into the other running back. What's his name? Dontrell. He looks pretty good. They've been using him a ton. And they passed to him a lot. So cuff him for now. Somebody give me the name. I'm blanking out on the name. Dontrell Williams, is it? Harris? Whatever. Spit the name out. I know you guys know it. I'm blanking. He is the guy to own right now. He's the backup. And let me pull it up. It's going to drive me nuts. What's his name? The current backup for the Browns right now is... They don't even have him listed. What's his name? Somebody give it to me. Nick Chubb will be a top 5 to 10 running back per start. I am not concerned about that at all. What I'm concerned about is he is an abusive, aggressive runner that is abusive to his own body, more so than most players in the entire league. Hilliard, thank you. Dontrell Hilliard. I knew his name was Dontrell. I was blanking out on his last name. Dontrell Hilliard is your new cuff to Nick Chubb. If you missed out on cuffing Nick Chubb to Kareem Hunt, and you didn't listen to me, and you listened to these other wackos saying that if you draft Kareem Hunt and waste your roster spot on a player that's not playing, Smitty, that you're going to be in a losing position. If you listen to those people and you didn't get yourself Kareem Hunt, at least go get Hilliard. They used him a lot in that first drive. They obviously trust him, and he's pulling in passes. He's a good receiver. They will use him in PPR if they feel like Nick Chubb isn't sufficient. Now, Nick Chubb could earn more PPR play. I'm not arguing he won't, but if he doesn't progress in that area, they will turn to Hilliard and use him quite a bit. So Hilliard already has pretty darn good value in Dynasty. Not that he has a long career, but just the fact that in Dynasty leagues, you're looking for deep talent. You can never find a player getting touches at the running back position. So if he's getting touches and Hilliard's going to get them, go grab him. So I will say this, and we're on the topic of Nick Chubb, and I still have Damien Williams up. Nick Chubb. I will say this and leave you with this. And this is the part that drives me nuts. People say, oh, I post a thing on Instagram saying, look at Nick Chubb, he looks amazing. I told you he's going to be awesome. Smitty, you were against Nick Chubb. What are you talking about? Like, what world do you live in? I love Nick Chubb. I ring the bell for Nick Chubb. I love Nick Chubb. I love Nick Chubb handcuffed. And I handcuff him at all costs. Maybe you don't. I do. And I will continue to. And I will have a top 5 to 10 running back. If Chubb is going to get hurt at any point this year, it's most likely going to be after he's had 10 crazy carries games in a row and he starts to break down. Richard says Duke Johnson will be a running back 2 by week 5. He could in Houston. But you know what? Trading away Duke, you know that Hilliard's very trusted in that Cleveland offense. So that says something about Hilliard. You're saying Melvin Gordon gets traded to the Chiefs. You heard it here. I don't know about that, bro. But we will definitely. Hazel says Smitty loves him some Chubb. All right. Next topic. Antonio Brown. What the hell do we do with Antonio Brown? Report out right now. Let's take a look at it. I'm not going to say overreact to this, but we got to worry about him constantly. According to a report, the Las Vegas Review-Journal reports Antonio Brown foot is expected to rejoin the Raiders in the near future. Brown has missed 10 of the Raiders' 11 practices this summer while battling the injury suffered while resulting in not wearing proper footwear in his cryotherapy session. So, this is becoming a little concerning. I think once he's back, it'll be fine. He's one of the most elite wide receivers in the game and has never showed signs of decline. So anybody trying to predict his decline, I think, is preemptively trying to do that. They have no evidence whatsoever that the guy will fall off talent-wise. His situation is definitely different in Oakland than it's going to be in Pittsburgh. No question about it. Ernie says time to buy low in Dynasty. It might be an opportunity to buy low, but you're also taking on more risk than you ever did. What's going on with his foot? Is this one of those things where they're hiding something and they're going to be giving us more and more information about how this is worse off than anybody ever thought? Because, severe frostbite can damage the nerves in a foot. Maybe he never cuts the same again. I don't know. I'm a little worried. I'll be honest with you. I'm a little worried. I own Antonio Brown in a few leagues. I'm a little worried, but I will say this. I will buy low because I like rolling the dice on a player like that has that kind of upside at a freak-out value and cost. But I have to say, he might be on the decline easy game, but he's not shown evidence of it yet. So that's preemptive. That's a prediction, and I respect it. but I don't think there's any evidence to show he's declined whatsoever talent-wise. In fact, when I watch him train, and I watch a lot of video on these guys training in the offseason, he looks fantastic. He's ripped. He's ready to go. He was ready to go until he burned his feet off. So I'm worried. I'm worried about Antonio Brown. I will not lie. I think Antonio Brown, right now, I hope he falls to third-round value where I'm more willing to take the risk. But at second-round value, you got to have question marks right now spending your second-round pick on him. So if you're drafting soon, I don't know that I would avoid it. It depends on who's there at your pick. It depends on who falls. It depends on the best player available at that moment. But I will say, I'm starting to worry enough to say he's more of an amazing 3.01 guy than he is a 2.12 guy. And call that a funny line to draw. But Evans, Dalvin Cook, obviously all those guys I rank way above him. David Montgomery, who is in the third round now, jumps into the second round. So David Montgomery might take his place and bump him down into the top of the third. Would I take top of the third value? Again, I would. I am starting to get worried. I think we all need to. We are all speculating at this point. There's no real news to report other than the news that I just read you that he's expected to rejoin the team soon. That doesn't sound great, but it doesn't sound necessarily awful either. It means he's resting his very badly blistered feet and his pride. Resting your pride after burning your feet off in a cryo chamber that you're supposed to know what you're doing. You can afford a cryo chamber. You should know how to work it. And I don't know if he actually owns it himself or if he stepped into... I imagine if he stepped into one, there's got to be somebody there that would have advised him not to walk in without any proper footwear. What the hell is he doing? But I would grab him in the third round still. We'll see. That could change. That could evolve. Know that. Next up, in the news, we've talked about Damien Williams. So Jacoby Myers. Let's talk about this guy and N'Keal Harry. If you want a sleeper wide receiver to grab in Dynasty right now, I don't know about redraft, guys. We're jumping the gun if we're going to bank on him as a redraft rookie so far, unless you're in a very deep league. But I love. Robert says, you're not an idiot. You just play one YouTube. What? Not sure what you're talking about, Robert. Jacoby Myers. 2 touchdown receptions in the game last night. A lot of buzz and hype heading into the game with this guy. A lot of people are excited about Jacoby Myers, and I'm starting to become one of them. Now, there's not room for him and N'Keal Harry to be the number one there. So I'm excited for Jacoby Myers in a sense that he looks good and he could be a good ad. N'Keal Harry's the future. No question about that. But in Dynasty, pick up Myers. Maybe you move him for something. I picked him up in a sense to maybe hope to trade him in a league where, I might need help at another position. And somebody might be like, hey, cool, nice Dynasty wide receiver. Should have grabbed him. Maybe I'll trade him, this, or upgrade his running back a little bit and take Myers off his hands. That's how I think. I don't necessarily grab him thinking, oh, he's going to be a stud, but there's value there. Time to move him. Maybe pick him up and turn him. But very, very excited about this kid from what I've seen. And objectively, I can say that. Even though I love N'Keal Harry, I can say, hey, 6 to 8 receptions for 6 receptions out of 8 targets, 69 yards, 2 TDs in Thursday's preseason game. He's been the favorite target, quote unquote, of Tom Brady in camp, and the undrafted free agent again pulled in the 2 scores and looked pretty damn good. Very early on, and he could get cut. Who knows? But not a guy I'm not gonna let him sit on waivers. That's for sure. Next topic. Preston Williams, the wide receiver for the Dolphins, caught 4 passes for 5 yards for 4 passes of his 5 targets, 97 yards in Thursday night's game. He was the star of the game. 6'4", 211 pounds, outside weapon. Got a defensive interference call. I like him. Grab him in Dynasty and if he's available. and let's see what happens. I mean, this is one of those situations where we don't know a lot, but when a guy emerges like that, you pick him up, you hold him, and you wait. You pick him up, and then you figure it out. Don't leave him sitting there if you're in a deep dynasty league. Grab him. Grab him and Jacoby Myers. And the guy I'm talking about now, I'll put him on screen so you know how to spell his name. Not that it's difficult, but Preston Williams for the Miami Dolphins. Grab him and just wait. A lot of talent there. Next up, I'm ready for a Smitty retraction. Ready for I am wrong. Ready for a take a lap moment. Maybe not yet, but potentially a growing take a lap moment. Daniel Jones looked pretty good. I've been pretty critical of that selection. I've been really critical of Daniel Jones, calling him garbage, saying that how could you draft a no-name player. I'm starting to see what they might have seen in this guy. He was very sharp, very crisp. What was his stats? 5 for 5 for 67 yards and capped it off with a touchdown pass to Benny Fowler in the red zone. He looked very crisp, and I love his throwing style. He looks smooth as hell. He was one of those players, he steps in and I'm like, man, that guy is sharp, accurate, and if I had an objective look at it, which I do now, but when I first saw some film, I would have I felt like I would have saw this. I don't know where this guy came from, because looking at his film, I don't really see what I saw last night, which is a very good QB. Now, let's pump the brakes a little bit, because they don't have wide receivers. You can talk about Shepard all you want. I don't see it. Ingram, potential, yeah. But they don't have good wide receivers. So what were they doing not pairing this guy to a N'Keal Harry? And here goes my rant again about how awful they drafted outside at least this pick, because he could be good. But why don't you get an A.J. Brown? Why don't you get a Hollywood Brown? Why don't you get a Deebo Samuel? Why don't you go get a N'Keal Harry that you passed on 2 more times? If you would have got Jones, that kind of wide receiver, you might be looking at a turnaround team like the Rams were in 1 year. When the Rams turned things around, you might be looking at a turnaround team in the Giants. But instead, I don't have a lot of faith that Daniel Jones will have what he needs to become a big-time fantasy guy right away. But the potential's there, and I'm almost ready to take a lap. I feel like I'm on the verge of lap-taking material. Hold me accountable. If Daniel Jones develops into a really good quarterback, I do need to take my lap, and I will record it. That will be something I do, because we're all wrong from time to time, folks, and Daniel Jones looks pretty darn good. I'm excited for the guy. I'm happy for Giants fans that they got a QB that could be pretty good. And let's talk about the next topic, which is my boy. Can you guess who I'm going to talk about now? Devin the Motor Singletary. For those of you that have been sitting around not listening to me pump this kid up for a good 6-7 months, where the hell have you been? This guy is the quickest left to right stop on a dime player probably already in the league. There might be a couple people that have more quicks as far as a running back goes. I mean, obviously like a Tyreek Hill, but I'm talking about running back. He probably is the quickest left to right runner right away entering the league. He doesn't have the off-the-line speed that a lot of people wanted at the combine, which is why people didn't rank him as high as they did. But I love this kid. He looks very good between the tackles for being quote-unquote small. He showed shiftiness and change of direction like I expected, like he proved in college. Just a guy that makes people miss left and right on his one big play. If you look at the footage, and I have it on my Instagram feed, the guy makes so many players miss in one play. It's unreal. His his vision and patience and ability to cut left and right within a small amount of space is hard to measure and even analyze. You have to slow down the film to see that his one little movement did to a defensive lineman completely going the other direction. Devin Singletary has a potential to be a really amazing running back too in fantasy, maybe higher than that. As I talked about at the beginning of the show here, this draft class, the running back draft class, and the wide receivers, but people like the wide receiver class. They didn't like the running back class. This running back class is so good, we might be looking at 2 top 10 running backs, one of them in the top 5. And you can guess that David Montgomery is probably that guy. But Darrell Henderson might be top 10, top 5 to 10 per start as well. We will see how that develops, and we can talk about that at the very end here, because we talk about Todd Gurley a ton, but he's back in the news running straight line. So everybody's excited. But Devin Singletary could be that top 15 running back in fantasy. He could be. He's that good. And he's in that good of a situation where he's getting already first team reps, even ahead of where I thought the Bills would react and want to benefit from the drafting of this guy, because you just doubt the coaching staff all the time and be like, do you see what we see? You drafted the guy. You obviously do. But time and time again, these coaches will just sit on talent too long. It looks like they're getting him involved right away. He's getting first team reps. He's looking fantastic. He turned heads in his first game. And you got to think that's going to lead them to be like, whoa, we need to see what this kid can do. And once they do that, he will deliver. Just like Darrell Henderson. Once he's given a chance, he will deliver. They're too good of talents. They will make people look like fools. Devin Singletary reportedly, time and time again, has made his own teammates in practice look foolish. He's like that guy in the basketball court where you juke, the guy falls down, everybody screams, and he just drains the shot. That's like Devin Singletary in practice. That's Devin Singletary every time he touches the field. He will make you fall down. He's an ankle breaking juke machine. And I can't wait to see him unleashed fully. I can't wait. And next and final topic, and if you guys have any more, toss it out at the end. We'll do like a question and answer at the end. But Darrell Henderson. What do we do with Darrell Henderson? Thank you, Jake. And hit the thumbs up, guys. We have 40 to 50 people in here and only 22 thumbs up. It really helps the show. If I've brought you any entertainment value, unless you feel that way, but I appreciate a thumbs up. Darrell Henderson, what do we do with Darrell Henderson? Todd Gurley's running, guys. Oh my God, we're all concerned about that we overspent on Darrell Henderson. First of all, Darrell Henderson, if you've been drafting him higher than the top of the 6th round, you have been reaching unnecessarily. But I think if anything, he gets shoved into the 7th round with all this new Gurley hype. People are ready to take Gurley in the top 12 again, top 8 to 12. And that's way too early, guys. I can't, just like Jake saying, you can't wait to see Henderson and Pollard. I can't wait to see Henderson get the opportunity that Montgomery's gotten, get the opportunity that Devin Singletary's gotten. If Darrell Henderson can deliver in his debut and really tear it up, even with one play, we'll see everybody get back on the Darrell Henderson train. Now, do I want that? Kind of don't. I kind of want him to go in and slide in under the radar and be the kind of guy that we can scoop up at 7 and 8 round value because he wins you a league there. He can win you a league at 6 round value. I'm still taking Darrell Henderson over a lot of those 6th and 7th round players. I am. But I'd much rather pay a 7th round, 8th round price because he can hit a home run even further from that spot. But don't have a knee-jerk reaction to Todd Gurley running. Marshall Faulk, the year he fell off the face of the earth, had, I believe, 3 touchdowns in 1/2 in his final preseason game and absolutely did nothing his final year. He blew. He was absolute waste of a first rounder. People already worried, was this the year we do draft him still or don't? I don't know. He has 3 touchdowns in the preseason, and everybody got excited, and he did nothing. Players drop off all the time. Sean Alexander, 5 elite years, completely fell off the face of the earth, if you remember Sean Alexander. Priest Holmes fell off the face of the earth after 5 elite years. Larry Johnson scored 27 touchdowns as a running back in football, was the best running back in fantasy football history, some would say, that year. And Larry Johnson only had 2 elite seasons. Todd Gurley's had 4, and he's got arthritis, and he enters a very questionable situation. Darrell Henderson is still the guy to grab. Darrell Henderson is the win-a-league player to stash on your bench. Darrell Henderson still has something to prove. So while everybody's getting really down on the guy, let his ADP fall, take him. Now, would I draft? People ask me all the time, where would you draft Todd Gurley, Smitty? Where would you honestly draft Todd Gurley? And the answer to that is, in the 3rd round, I would consider drafting Todd Gurley. Now, I won't sniff that anymore. Now that Todd Gurley's doing a sprint in practice and people saw him and they're getting real amped about it, he's back in the 12, back in the 8 to 15 overall range. I'm not going to sniff him. I'm less likely to own Todd Gurley now than I was months before when he was falling into potentially the 3rd round. Now, would I still pay 3rd round value given that he's running and showing some signs of being able to play a couple games before we would then reevaluate his knee and all that? Yeah. I would consider drafting Todd Gurley in the 3rd round and handcuffing him at all costs to Darrell Henderson. So there is some potential that he plays games this year at a decent level before he runs into problems. But I firmly predict that Todd Gurley will run into those problems. Todd Gurley will have knee flare-ups and issues with his knee. I firmly believe that. I do not think Todd Gurley will escape the inevitable, which is a downfall, a decline to extreme proportions. I think that we are definitely going to see that out of Todd Gurley when push comes to shove. Eventually, he will decline. So, if you want to trust Todd Gurley, trust him at your own demise if you aren't grabbing Darrell Henderson. Come on, Smitty, you are a serious dude. I hope Gurley drops. Thank you. I think Todd Gurley still has a great year. Okay? Hit me with your questions. What do you got? Let's talk it. Q&A time. Draft Darrell Henderson. That's my final advice here. Question and answers. Hit me with it. What do you got? One question I had earlier was, where would I take David Montgomery now that he's popped and exploded and is on everybody's radar? Please hit that thumbs up, guys, if you're just joining. If I added any value at all to your day, I appreciate it. It helps the show. I think you need to draft him around 3.01 on up to 20 overall right now. And I think he can easily earn that. Watkins is asking, Cooks or Galladay? I think I'd go with Cooks for right now, but both have potential to be, right around this. I think they could be the same. I just traded Darius Geis in a first-round rookie pick for 2020 for Montgomery in Dynasty. Absolutely fantastic. If you knew that 2020 was a number 1 overall pick, then you'd have an argument to make on either side. If you don't know where that pick is or it's not in the top 1 to 2, then you absolutely killed that trade. And David Montgomery is going to walk you into a lot of points, man, into running back 1 numbers. Steve, Chubb and Kareem Hunt, or Cook and Madison. That's a tough one. I think I'd go with Cook and Madison, but it's close, dude. I like both of those sets of running backs, and you could call me crazy, but I'd roster all 4 of those guys in one league, and hope that I got the numbers that I'm hoping for out of these guys, because I think they could be top 5 to 10 running backs. Good question though. Let's see here. I drafted a team on ESPN, team George Kittle, David Montgomery, Darrell Henderson, and I named it the Smitty Special. Attaboy. And I like your avatar. Larry says if you draft Darrell Henderson at running back 2 or flex value, then he goes off. Yeah. Well, just make sure, get him at flex value. I wouldn't get him at running back 2 value because you don't have to, especially the Todd Gurley news is making Darrell Henderson drop into potentially 7th round value. That is your flex play or later. Don't draft Darrell Henderson as your running back 2 unless you stack big time, like you go 0 running back approach. Then you can maybe get Darrell Henderson as your running back 2 because you built that way. You've got Mike Thomas, Mike Evans, and like I have in one league, Antonio Brown. I have all 3 of those wide receivers. I have Aaron Rodgers, and then I have a plethora of running backs that have question marks, but you're stockpiling. So if you go 0 running back, then definitely something I think you can try with Darrell Henderson. Thumbs up, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. 2 guys I can't wait to see. I already talked about that, Henderson and Pollard. So I just wanted to post your comment. Next question. Raider Junkie. I thought I was a fantasy football addict, but Smitty, you take the cake, and I love it always. Willing to talk fantasy football. Thank you. Thoughts on Ty Johnson and Dontrell Hilliard. Talked about Hilliard already. I think he's a must-grab right now for Chubb owners, especially if you missed out on getting Kareem Hunt. If something develops and they love Hilliard and they trade Hunt like some people predict once they can trade him, I don't think that's what they brought Hunt in for. But let's say Hunt can't keep his head straight. Hilliard's the number 2 for right now, so grab Hilliard. Ty Johnson, I think, has potential, and Dynasty definitely grab him. David says, Smitty's mixed scooter. I like that. I went on a scooter ride again the other night and did fantasy football advice from the scooter. Mixed scoot. Here's your question. Thanks, Smitty. Also, I got offered John Ross and Josh Gordon for Singletary seconds ago. No, absolutely not. Do not trade Singletary. Would you take Pat as your overall number 1 pick in PPR? Pat who? Who are you talking about? Darrell Henderson or Lat Murray? I own Kamara. I'm taking Darrell Henderson, man. I don't care about the cuff. I recommend you go get both. But when push comes to shove, Lat Murray's not winning your league. He might help save you some points if Kamara went down, but Henderson could win you a league. Did you discuss Kyler Murray? Not yet. I love Kyler Murray. Murray looks good, and there wasn't a lot to go on in that game. Don't get me wrong, but I like the feel of that offense. I like the way that they were spread out. I like the fact that he found wide receivers and connected in a spread out system. So that spread out system looks like it's jiving well with Kyler Murray and that entire offense as a whole, at least on the onset. And we'll find out more, but I really, really like the way it looked in that very short amount of time. So excited about Kyler Murray. Top 8 to 10 running QB numbers in 2019 as a rookie is not out of the question. Okay, Patty Mahomes. What was your question? Your question was, would you take Pat as your overall number 1 pick in PPR? No. He's a 3rd rounder ADP wise. Unless you're in like a monster QB scoring league, like it has more points. So if he's in a 6-point TD league, you still wouldn't take him number 1 overall. But Pat Mahomes is a guy I take in the 3rd round constantly, and I get ripped apart for it. So why you take him in the 1st round, I don't know, unless your scoring is crazy. And it might be. 4. Kamara, like backs, grab Henderson. Okay, just making a comment. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Says David. Thank you, David. Barkley and Luck or Mahomes and... Oh, whoops, I clicked on the wrong comment. Barkley and Luck or Mahomes and D. Adams. That's tough. I think you got to go Barkley and Luck. I think Luck is not too far off. But Barkley, I think, is just, you have a huge advantage. That's why he's the number 1 or 2 overall player. So you got to go with the big guy. But I love Mahomes. I'd find a way to get Mahomes with Barkley. That's my answer. Mike Evans or Keenan Allen. Mike Evans by a lot, by a whole round. 18-man league. I don't know, man. Then you're thinner at running back than in the other league. So I don't know that you. Yeah, Murray 6 for 6. I think that's what he was. But Murray looked fantastic. What's up, Cook? Evan Ingram take. I like him at the right price. I'm not taking or reaching for him. I'd take him, at the 5 to 7 tight end range in a draft, wherever that falls. But, I'm not going to get extra excited and grab him too early. Going to the Raiders and Rams preseason game Saturday and wearing a Jamarcus Russell jersey. That's funny. Matthew, check in about Darrell Henderson, please. Tell us what you see on the ground. Smitty, name your top 5 tight ends. Exclude Kelsey and Kittle. All right, let me pull up my rankings here. And I'll tell you exactly who I've ranked. I'm going to rank Kelsey and Kittle anyways and just give you 7. Because I think people need to hear the whole thing. My top 7 tight ends for 2019 are so obviously Kelsey and Kittle are my 1 and 2, and I surprisingly have Kittle neck and neck with Kelsey, and I prefer to draft Kittle in the 3rd round than I do Kelsey anywhere because Kelsey's going in the 2nd or 1st. I don't touch Kelsey in 2019. I draft Kittle. Kittle's my guy. You win your league if you draft George Kittle in the 3rd round, or you have win a league material. You have a win a league assist type move that gets you probably a 10 to 15% chance based on last year's numbers, where we look at if you drafted Travis Kelce, you had like a 13 to, depending on the data, 13 to 16% increased chance of winning your league if you landed everything else by drafting Kittle in the 3rd round or wherever. Kelce. So Kittle, I believe, will have the same kind of impact. But Kelce, Kittle, Ertz. Then it's a toss-up between... I have Njoku finishing as the 4th tight end, but of course I draft him later than that because you can. So in a ranking, you would say like, okay, O.J. Howard, Hunter Henry, Njoku. And then it's really a toss-up between... Ingram. Ingram's got to be the next guy. Ingram, then you have Cook, you have Hawkinson, and it gets really thin at that point. McDonald, like you could go anywhere after that. The tight end pool is very thin in 2019. If you miss out on one of those top guys, you're almost better off waiting and getting like a Rudolph or something like that, or Austin Hooper, who I think could be top 8, but you could get him at 12 or 13. So that's how I see it. Hawkinson get the veteran treatment. Yeah, Hawkinson could be good, man, right away. So could Fant. I like both of them. Kamara, Damien Williams, Montgomery, first 3 picks. Kamara, Hilton, Montgomery, no flex. Don't go Williams right. Williams shouldn't be a 2nd rounder. With the current information we have, you need to adjust and take advantage. If you haven't drafted yet, Mercado, don't take Damien Williams in the 2nd round. You don't need to. His value's dropped a lot from today's news about a running back by committee. Use that to your advantage. You could almost swap those guys and say go Kamara, Montgomery, Damien Williams, and essentially have the same players. But I don't think you're going to get Montgomery in the 3rd round time and time and time again. You might in some leagues, but there's a really good chance Montgomery does not fall into the 3rd round anymore. Damien Williams might, but I think you're better off if you think you can firmly, for sure, get Montgomery. Don't take Hilton as your 2nd player. If you could get Montgomery in the 3rd round, you want Kamara and Evans, Kamara and Cook, and Montgomery. But I think Montgomery's going to go earlier. But don't take Hilton as your 2nd drafted player. Don't take Damien Williams as your 2nd drafted player. You're not giving yourself enough wiggle room or upside or ability to absorb the negativity surrounding that Damien Williams situation. Bruce Arians QBs usually throw for 5,000 yards, says yeah, maybe. I think I like Winston, but it's hard for me to trust him. I don't know why. QB in our league, 50 yards per point, 2 points at 300, 3 points at 350, 5 points at 4. Touchdowns are 6. Yeah, I mean, so DFS, if your league has QBs go that high, if they typically do get drafted that high and your scoring supports it and the way people grab them follow suits, meaning you're not going to get a big gun if you wait, then, I mean, Mahomes enters a whole different world that no one else watching right now is in but you. You're in a unique league and situation. But if you think Baker Mayfield will fall to the second round, go ahead and draft a big gun and pair him with Baker. Don't waste it on Mahomes if you can get Baker in the second, because Baker's going to have a big year. I'm late. What did AB do? Who announced a committee? Damien Williams. There's talk about Damien Williams being in a committee now in Kansas City, and I'm telling everybody not to freak out, but definitely react to it enough to where you're like, okay, draft him in the third round, not the second round, and make sure you cuff him properly. And if you already own Damien Williams, you should have the handcuffs, because I've been preaching that situation is what's good, not just Damien Williams. AB burned his feet off, essentially, went into a cryo chamber, didn't wear protective socks or whatever, and his feet are peeling massively. Google the image and you'll be like, what the hell? But Antonio Brown is kind of MIA and not reporting, went AWOL, a few reports suggest, but the newest report says he'll return to the team soon. But his feet look awful. Hopefully he didn't damage his nerves or something. We'll find out. But right now, Antonio Brown's a safe, I would say Antonio Brown's a safe third rounder. Don't go grabbing him any higher than that, because you don't have to. Kittle can't possibly have the RAC that he had last year. He can't, Jake? Sound the alarm. Just kidding, Jake. Jake, you're going to be taking a lap. I love Kittle. Kittle wins leagues in 2019. Can't wait. No problem, DFS. Next question. Let me look through the news, see if there's anything else that's popping. Kiki Cutie. QT. However you want to say his name. Everybody says it differently. Kiki Cutie, not major ankle injury. That's good. Although I'm not as sold on him as other people. Debo has been impressing. Aggressive mentality of Shanahan. Blah, blah, blah. Get ready for Debo Samuel, guys. I think Debo Samuel is going to emerge as a pretty damn good player. I love Debo. I think he could be a top 10 to 15 wide receiver for the future. Raider junkie, Mike Williams over Calvin Ridley, or the opposite? I take Calvin Ridley over Mike Williams every time. Calvin could be the next Juju Smith-Schuster. We might be talking about Calvin like we're talking about Juju this year, come this time next year. So I really like Calvin. Calvin's a beast, man. A beast in the making. How about Pollard and Damian Harris? I love Damian Harris. Damian Harris is a stash and wait type player now. You're not going to get much run out of him in the beginning because Sony Michel is the starting running back. White is going to be a starting running back. They essentially have two. But Michel, I don't believe, will stay healthy. So, Vish. Jake, don't tell Smitty I'm not high on Kittle either. A lot more weapons and young wide receivers. Plus, if Pettis is healthy all year, it'll be tough for Kittle to repeat last year's history. Both of you together, holding hands, take a lap. Okay? Right now. No. Kittle wins you leagues, guys. I don't want to hear that talk in here. Watch Anthony Miller. We will. I will watch him closely. Paris Campbell, ruled rookie Paris Campbell inactive for the preseason opener. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see what's up with Paris Campbell. N'Keal Harry looked nice last night. sick hands. Yes, sir, David. He looked amazing, and I think he has the potential again to be a top 5 wide receiver for the future. I agree. Other news. McKinnon received an injection in his surgically repaired knee and will be sidelined for the next 2 weeks. Not good for McKinnon. McKinnon is taking a downward turn and is starting to look like Breda will be the backup to Coleman. McKinnon, it wouldn't be surprising if McKinnon never played in 2019 at this point. But I like McKinnon, but he just can't get back to healthy. Some people don't recover the same way from injuries, guys, especially knee. But good news for Coleman. If Coleman can stay healthy, Coleman might be one of the bigger steals at running back that you can get in a zero running back approach. Like if you go 3 amazing wide receivers and you want to have Coleman and a bunch of Darrell Henderson types, and Coleman could be a running back too and be very, very damn good. Hey, Smitty, says Terry. Terry here from Canada. Tell the counselor I said hi. WPG love Kittle. Have him 13th round keeper in redraft. I love Kittle. 13th round is a steal. Way to go, even from Canada, my friend. Smitty, what are your thoughts on Paris Campbell? I like him, but we'll have to monitor the injury. I think he's got a good shot at being a decent wide receiver. I don't know that he'll ever be a fantasy wide receiver 1. We'll have to kind of see how that plays out. Is it possible? Sure. McKinnon done, says Webb. And Raider Junkie says, Webb, I agree, Webb. We just made friends. Oh, you guys just became best friends. Smitty, what are your thoughts on Paris? Oh, I just wrote that. Take a lap, Smitty. Oh, God. Where's my video clip?
Take a lap. Take a lap. Yeah. Take a lap.
That's my boy. We call him the professor. We call him the underpaid professor on the show. Look at him.
Take a lap.
He's in his office.
Take a lap. Yeah. Take a lap.
That's my boy. Oh, yeah, if Matty Ice gets hurt, then Atlanta is done. Schaub looks like a crappier version of Schaub, says Larry. Interesting take, my friend. Preston Williams looked good. Yes, he did. And we talked about him earlier. Pick him up in Dynasty and just kind of see what's up. I mean, almost like a grab and then we'll evaluate later. I'm trying to see if there's any other players in the news. Frank Gore going to get first team work in the opener. That was old news. And we saw Devin Singletary explode. So we're back to let me just make sure and refresh any news, see if anything came in while we've been on the show. Are you worried about Detroit wide receivers such as Golladay? Bevel has been known to pound the rock. I mean, I'm worried about everybody, but Golladay will get enough targets, and one player can eat, but not a lot of wide receivers will eat. And so Golladay I'm not too worried about, but I'm not like expecting wide receiver 1 numbers, though. What's up, Little? Antonio Brown. According to Sports Illustrated, Antonio Brown's vocal frustration over the league's new helmet rules has contributed to a disconnect with the Raiders. What? Brown's talent is without question, but his... Okay, so I'm not sure what's going on with this new Antonio Brown news. I'm trying to catch up on it real quick. That's weird. There's some talk about league rules and helmet. I don't know. That's no news. That news is no news. What the news that we're worried about is the Adam Schefter report from ESPN that Antonio Brown has filed a grievance against the NFL. Whoa. Appealing the league's decision to ban his preferred helmet. What is going on here? Antonio Brown is MIA because he almost burned his feet off, and he's filing a grievance against the NFL for not being able to wear his favorite helmet. What the hell, Antonio Brown? You're making it really hard to like you. Take a lap. Oh, he can't. He can't take a lap because he burned his feet off. Damn it, AB. Somebody push him around the building. Antonio Brown. Take a lap, Antonio Brown. Somebody, this goes for you.
Take a lap.
Somebody push him around the building.
Take a lap. Yeah.
Antonio Brown, does he have better things to do right now? Like put Neosporin on his feet? He's filing a grievance against the NFL, appealing a league's decision to ban his preferred helmet. I still believe this guy has the potential to be a top 5 wide receiver talent-wise, but I'm starting to question his ability to stay focused on the right shot because he's burning his feet off. He's obviously, his mind is elsewhere. What about worrying about wearing socks, Antonio Brown, when you go into a cryo chamber and not worrying about a helmet? What's wrong with this guy? I'm starting to really question my picking you in fantasy football drafts right now, Antonio. I mean, you have time to file a grievance about your preferred helmet, but you don't have time to put socks on your feet when you go into a negative 180 degree temperature. Great show today. Off to the gym to take my laps. Peace out, Jake. You the man. Freaking drama. He can take a lap. He can't take a lap, Terry. His feet have blisters and freezer burn. Let's go. You guys want to go live on Instagram and answer some questions? Let's do that. Let's go live on Instagram. 1 second as I try and connect my phone. Oh, God. I don't know what to say anymore about Antonio Brown, honestly. All right. Let's go live on Instagram. Go live on Instagram. We'll answer some questions. You guys will see what it's like to be in the Instagram world, talking to the Instagram peeps. Let's share my screen here. All right. Let me see. Options. There. And we'll close that. All right. You guys ready to go live on Instagram? Let's go live. Talk to the Instagram peeps. What up, Instagram? If you have missed it, we're over on the Fantasy Football Show on YouTube. Why aren't you there, agents? Alien. Corn. What the hell's your problem, guys? We've been on YouTube live for over what? How has it been, guys? Over an hour talking about news and notes. What's going on, agents? Agents, it's been a while because you aren't over on Instagram. So, should we talk? Answer some or throw some questions out. Alien, oh, you're working. That's a good excuse. We're talking about Antonio Brown right now and how Antonio Brown decided to file a grievance against the NFL for not letting him wear the right little helmet, his little favorite helmet. But he doesn't have time to put socks on his feet. Thoughts on my team, Nick? I like your team. It's good. Nick, you've asked me 3 times. What round should I draft Devin Singletary in? Guys, what round should he draft Devin Singletary in? I'm asking the YouTube people because you guys are over here and not over on YouTube. I think we say, what? Round 6 or 7? Will you even get him in 6 or 7 now? Montgomery equals a 4th rounder, 2nd round pick. Montgomery equals 4th round, 2nd round pick. What does that even mean, bro? Are you telling me he's not worth a second, or are you laughing because I've been saying he will be a 2nd round pick? If so, then you were correct. What's up, Hobie? Why is my Yahoo app alerting me I don't know. I'm not sure, Webb. Should I choose Gurley at 1.01? No, Nick. You should not. You traded for Zeke and gave up Cooper and Ertz. Is that good for me? Yes. Great job. I like that trade. I trade that all day long. How are we feeling about Damien Williams? We're feeling just fine about Damien Williams because cuffing him was important. But I don't think that that your boy Carlos Hyde is any lock to play any more than the other 2 running backs on that roster. So the argument is really with the situation. The situation will be king, and I don't think Carlos Hyde is going to hold on to anything for very long. Bold prediction, Baker folds. Hell no, Alien. Alien.
No. 1,000 times no.
Take a lap for that. Take a lap. I'm going to play this for you. Don't ever talk about Baker that way.
Take a lap. Take a lap. Yeah. Take a lap.
Don't talk about Baker that way again. Deflecting. Ain't deflecting shit, beast. Damien Williams, let's let things play out before we have knee-jerk reactions. Now, do I draft him at 18 overall right now with news of a potential more of a sharing situation? That doesn't mean your predictions Carlos Hyde's going to take over the job. I don't agree with that at all. I still don't. That has no relevance. To me, it is a situation that needs to be cuffed. Just like Nick Chubb needs to be cuffed, just like Darrell Henderson and Gurley need to be cuffed, just like James Conner need to be cuffed to his backups. If you can't cuff them, then you shouldn't be drafting them. That's my stance on that. Alien, we will see. Want to bet 10 laps. On what? On Carlos Hyde? I'll bet you 10 laps that Carlos Hyde isn't. Where should we draft Derrick Henry? Derrick Henry, to me, is not a 2nd round running back. I want to hear some Jalen Samuels talk. Okay, I'll do that in a second. For those of you not on YouTube, you can get on over to YouTube or stay here. I've got you guys on YouTube right now. We're doing a combo show here. Antonio Brown, he's not playing unless he gets to wear his helmet. That would be fitting for Antonio Brown. He's not playing. He's not playing AB. So a lot of people are saying AB won't play 2019 if he doesn't get to wear his helmet, his special helmet. That would be just like AB. Maybe this is AB trying to mask that he burned his feet off and that he can't play anyways. He's like, what excuse can I come up with? How about my helmet? How about my helmet? AB's holding out because of his helmet. Yeah, no, we've been talking about the helmet stuff already. It's on all kinds of places. It's been all over the news. YouTube squad or IG, more loyal? My YouTube squad. Hold on. My YouTube squad. My IG squad. I love you both. I share joint custody of you. But the fantasy football show is able to be in its full format on YouTube. So clearly, the show lives on YouTube. Instagram is merely the you could call the summer home of the show, but a very cool place to live and go visit during the summers. So don't take that the wrong way, Instagram. Jacoby Myers over N'Keal Harry, no. I like both, but no. Jalen Samuels is fire, says Fanatic. I agree. What side is better, Kamara, Galladay, Lamar Miller, or David Johnson, Mike Evans, LaShawn McCoy? So Kamara, Galladay, Miller, or David Johnson, Evans? David Johnson, Evans by probably a lot. Not a lot, but I'd say a good amount. AB is a weirdo. I have Gordon and Zeke. AB keeps sliding. He does. I'm starting to worry about AB. IG live feed is about 8 seconds faster than the YouTube, pulling dual screens right away. It is a little bit delayed because I've been live for over an hour and 15 minutes on YouTube, so there's a little bit of a delay. Thoughts on Carson Wentz and Trubisky? I like Carson Wentz as a potential top 7 to 10 overall player. Trubisky's like outside the top 10, but potential. Steve, now following you on Instagram. Attaboy. And AB would have to pay back his money. With this news, are you even comfortable drafting AB anywhere? As the more news unfolds, I'm starting to worry. I'm starting to worry more and more. Brown has also ruffled feathers by barely paying attention to the team meetings, often showing up late and spending the most of his time glued to his phone. The Raiders may be feeling buyer's remorse after seeing Brown's recent antics. One member of the Raiders organization called Brown's continued resistance honestly the most insane thing I've ever heard, while another noted AB hasn't been here for a while and no one knows where he's at. So Antonio Brown has been AWOL. I know you are, agents. I took Jalen Samuels in the 5th round. That's too high, Fanatic. But I love him. He's absolute fire. He's going to be a beast. I think, 6th, 7th round is kind of more, I think, along the lines of where I'd take him. 20 team, wow. Hello. AB News. Mike, AB News. AB News is crazy. I don't know where I'd take AB now, to be completely honest with you. Let's go triple screen. So here's the news right here that we're talking about. Oh, AB. I don't know what to do with AB. Does anybody just avoid him in the 3rd? Like, where's your line then? If we're gonna say AB might not be worth a top of the 3rd round pick anymore, do we start taking him in the 4th round? Like, where's your line? Yeah, Samuels would be way too high in the 5th. I agree. I take him in the 7th or 8th maybe. As I think about where his ADP falls. Agent says he'd take him in the 9th. He's a 9th rounder. You mean? Yep. I got Zeke and Galladay for Cooper and Ertz. Did I win? Zeke and Galladay. Yes, you won big time. So I don't know what to do with AB at this point, guys. I own him in a couple leagues, and I'm feeling a little bit worried. I'm feeling a little worried about AB. I feel like something's wrong with him. Is there something else going on we don't know about? Is there something crazier going on? There might be. AB's going crazy right now. This is the most recent report where it says that one member of the Raiders organization called Brown's continued resistance honestly the most insane thing he's ever heard. And another noted that AB hasn't been there for a while and no one knows where he's at. Silver adds that Brown has also ruffled feathers by barely paying attention to the team meetings, often showing up late and spending time on his phone, glued to his phone. Damn it, AB. What is your problem, bro? I'm getting worried. Marcado, you're a big draft with 4 copies of each player is genius. Was that your idea? Also, the line for AB for me is the top of the third. I'm starting to think maybe it's the mid third, late third now. Maybe it's going to move toward fourth. Read that a handful of Raiders. You've read that a handful of Raiders are upset and they have switched helmets. If that means anything, maybe there's something to this helmet thing, but I think you can't freak out too much. You've got to take AB in the, I don't know, the third round for sure. But will that change? It could. It could. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I won't get more worried if more crap comes out. Trade AB now before he's a bust this season. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, Mighty Buffoon. Maybe AB is glued to his phone listening to Smitty. Maybe he is, Brian. That's a really good point. I own AB in Dynasty, and I was worried about Tyreek Hill this offseason. Now AB, what the F? I agree. Kind of sucks. In magazine leagues, I've seen Jalen Samuels available in the 10th round. Well, that's a steal. Oh, and to answer your question, Marcado, sorry. No, I mean there are very few league managements that support having multiple players in the league. So the way that I'm doing it maybe is original, yeah, but that option's there in a few league management tools, but not many. I don't trust AB on Instagram, says Darren. Kevin is giving me the crying sign, and Peter just joined. Kevin, why are you crying? Take a lap, AB. Take a lap. Entitled Brat. They're talking about AB. Baker Mayfield flops. Get out of here, alien.
No.
That's ridiculous, alien. Baker doesn't flop. Baker just looked amazing. What are you talking about, alien? Baker Mayfield's going to flop. Go flop, alien. Okay, let's get back to... This is what he's saying. Alien says Baker Mayfield flops. 140 spread QBs drafted since 04 have failed to be a franchise QB. Does Baker look like a flop, alien? Like, honestly, come on, bro. He's just looked amazing. What's up, Jay? What's up with AB? Says, I am tired. AB is looking very risky right now. AB, breaking news, AB just retired. Chiefs in a committee? We'll see what a committee looks like in Kansas City. They have a lot of mouths to feed. If I was a coach, I would use multiple running backs too. So if someone asked me, are you going to use some running backs? I'd be like, yeah. I'm going to give my boy some rest. AB retired. Let's refresh the news. I don't see that AB has retired. Sorry. Bro, he didn't retire officially. What the F, AB? I don't think he's going to retire. Come on. This is getting a little bit blown out of proportion for now. That could change, but we'll find out what's going on. How seriously, this is from Brian, how seriously do you take preseason games? I heard Dexter Williams looked good. Is he worth picking up with Aaron Jones and Jamal Hurt? Yeah, I mean, he's definitely worth grabbing. Definitely can't, grab him in deep leagues. AB is crazy, King. It is madness. Henry says Baker is a stud. Henry's correct. Alien is not. Alien on Instagram is wrong. You were wrong about Baker touchdown maker. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth about Baker. We don't put up with that here on the Fantasy Football Show. You take a lap when you say bad things about Baker Mayfield. AB is crazy. I don't know what to do about AB, guys, honestly. If you're in the room, hit the thumbs up, please. If you're on Instagram, go to the Fantasy Football Show and hit the thumbs up, please. AB said he'll never play football again if he can't wear his old helmet. Well, shiat, because I own AB in a couple leagues. I would take your guy Dalvin over AB, of course, King. Dalvin Cook is like a potential top 12 overall player. Already answered that question. Antonio Brown is being a biatch. Damn Antonio Brown. So for those of you just joining, we're talking about Antonio Brown. I might as well put that up on the topic here because that's what we're talking about. Antonio Brown. And we're also live on Instagram on a split screen here. So Instagram is over here. The Fantasy Football Show on YouTube is over here. And we've kind of collided the worlds. Damien is going to bust. He could. He might not. I don't think he will. I think Damien Williams needs to be handcuffed for sure. But you handcuff that situation properly and you're going to have, I think, awesome production. So it's just all about the handcuffs. That situation is king. As I've said before, Damien Williams isn't the talent that it's going to produce the numbers. It's the situation that's going to produce the numbers. Devin, Singletary, or Pollard in fantasy. Come on! That's not even close, bro. Devin Singletary. How early should I take Derrick Henry? Not in the second round. Maybe the third round. He's got a lot of risk, man. Henry says, I own AB in 2 dynasty leagues, one of which before last year I traded away McCaffrey for AB, which sucks now. Definitely Henry. I get upset about that if I'm you. Would you take Montgomery late second if you knew he'd be taken in the third? Yeah, Matthew. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. He's a freaking monster. I love David Montgomery. What did I predict? One flash of brilliance and he would jump into the second round, and that's exactly what happened. King, we diagnosed Antonio Brown with being crazy. Jake says Pollard. No way, Singletary. Montgomery over Henry all day. I agree, Piggy. Trade 2021 first for Singletary. Depends where the draft pick is. So let me know on that. Giants offense could implode. Cardinals offense in that division is going to produce stats for fantasy studs. Somewhat bold prediction for top 4 pick DJ over Zeke. Yeah, Jay, a lot of people like DJ this year. I take Zeke over DJ, but you're not crazy to think that DJ could be that good. He was once that good. But Giants could implode, yeah. But Daniel Jones, I'll admit, is a lot better than I thought. I'm kind of liking him. CMC or Kamara, I take Kamara. Kamara's been my 1.01 all offseason long. How do you rank Chubb now after Duke Johnson trade? I rank Chubb the same. I am tired. And you must own Kareem Hunt. And if you missed my YouTube show, which we're streaming live right now, go check it out because I talk about that a lot. And that you need to own, even more than ever, need to own Kareem Hunt if you own Nick Chubb. And you need to look at Hilliard. Hilliard needs to be picked up for the immediate future because he will be the backup to Nick Chubb. Don't trade a first for Singletary. It depends where it is. Singletary fell to the 3rd round of my rookie draft. Well, Henry, he's not going to fall anymore. That was a long time ago. Do you think he could finish top 4? Bell, says Lucas. I think Bell could be top 6 to 10. I'm not expecting. What's up, Lounge? For those joining, we're on Instagram Live and YouTube. Just kind of kicking it. Report said AB may retire. There's a lot of people screaming that right now. And there's going to be a lot of overreactions on the AB stuff, so be careful what you read. Adam Scheffner reports that Antonio Brown... Here, I'll share the screen here. 1 second, Instagram. So, Adam Scheffner... Oh, you can't even read that. It's backwards on Instagram, damn it. Adam Scheffner reports that Antonio Brown has told the Raiders he will not play football again if the league does not allow him to wear his preferred helmet. So that's what people were reporting earlier. Brown has reportedly played hooky from the team since last week, and it's believed that he had left to seek a second opinion on his injured feet, dealing with severe frostbite from cryotherapy mishap in France. But apparently the real reason for his absence is that Brown is unhappy over the league's new helmet requirements, which have led to a disconnect between AB and his bewildered teammates. According to Scheffner, Brown feels other helmets impede his vision. The 7-time Pro Bowler filed a grievance with the league, which will be heard next week. Brown is a ticking time bomb right now. That is from ESPN, mixed with RotoWorld, and there you have it. Antonio Brown is unraveling before your very eyes right now, and ears, and I don't know what to think at this point. Where the hell do we rank him? I don't know where I honestly am telling you I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to rank him. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Where do you guys rank him? Does anybody, after even that report, after reading that report where he says he won't play football until they change this rule, where do you draft him? Do you draft him in the fourth round even? Like, what the hell? What the hell do we do now? Cade says he's not touching him. Who's not touching Antonio Brown anymore? After this news, who's not touching Antonio Brown? Always draft late. That's true. Odell Beckham Jr. and Nick Chubb, I like it. I like it a lot. Jake says Brown will play. Come on. I'm hoping that to be true because I own him in a couple leagues. I am tired of not touching him. No AB for me, says Poetic. Maybe in the 7th round, says JDH 1999. Estoy Blanco says he won't touch him. Brown will play. Come on, says Jake. He's just a crybaby, in your opinion, DFS says. I don't know. I honestly, I'm here telling you, I usually have an answer for everything. I'm honestly telling you, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to take Antonio Brown. I don't know where to recommend at this moment in time as this is unraveling and developing in front of our very eyes. I don't know what to tell you. I for once don't have an answer for you. I think I need to digest this. I need to think of it objectively, step away from the situation, and come up with something. Because right now, I honestly don't.
No.
I don't know. I don't know. Agent says he'll hold off. I'm done with him, says King. I would draft AB in the 5th round. Let me put these on screen. Savvy says I would draft AB in the 5th round knowing everything today. King says he's done with him. Agent says I'll hold off for now. Mike says he will not touch him. Agent says I believe he will play, but still it's too risky. Mighty Buffoon says I'll let someone else deal with the ABBS. The ABIBS, we should call it. Tyrell Williams draft stock just shot up in a matter of 30 minutes. That's a very good point. Agents, I'm glad you brought that up. AB equals buffoonery, says JC. Come on, Smitty. Don't let this dude get you off your game. He does this every year. I'm not off my game, DFS. I'm having a legitimate reaction to Antonio Brown saying he doesn't want to play football unless he can wear his little bitty helmet that he loves so much. That's not an overreaction. You have to react to that. How do you not react to that? And I agree. You can't trust AB. He could play and light it up. I'm not saying I told you, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't know where I'm ranking him. I'm not saying I won't draft him in the late 3rd round, right now. I admitted I don't know what I'm going to do yet. How am I off my game with this when I'm just saying I'm taking a step back for 5 minutes? My whole life is in front of this camera. Give me 1 second to digest what's going on. I don't know what I'm going to do at this point. I'm just thinking. I'm mulling it over. I don't know what to do about AB. I'm admitting it right now. Where do you rank Williams if AB doesn't play? I don't know. I don't think anybody does well in that offense if AB doesn't play. AB was the game changer for that offense. I think Williams is okay, like wide receiver 4 or 5, but I'm not starting him as my wide receiver 3 just because AB's gone. I mean, he's an okay. Jay says Smitty is never off his game. That's not even funny, bro. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for supporting me, Jay, during my moment of I don't know what to do. I just am waiting for a second. I'm letting it simmer. I've been online for an hour and 35 minutes. Let me have my moment of what the hell do I do? Manning says, 3rd round, yes, I'd draft him there in the 3rd. Kidding me. Waller says, Fantasy Troll. Okay, ask yourself, does this guy, he does this every year? Yeah, but DFS, you got to start questioning whether his teammates even want to play football with him anymore. You know what I mean? Like, there's more to it than that. AB can't go past the 5th round. I get that, and I agree with that. I'm not saying to take him in the 4th round even. I'm not saying to let him slip past the 3rd round. I'm just saying, what the hell? You take a lap, DFS. Everybody in this room is worried about AB but you. Tyrell is an amazing second-hand wide receiver. He could be okay. Until he burned his feet, says Savvy. Simmer down now, says Estoy Blanco. Estoy Blanco, I don't simmer down. He's full of drama, says Sib. What's up, Thomas? Just look back with the Chargers and Keenan Allen. I don't know what you're saying there, buddy. Steelers are saying good riddance. Take Juju all day. Yeah, what a... They wanted to get rid of this guy for a good reason. Brian, Smitty, how's it going? Or how you doing? I love your scooter videos. Thank you. For those that don't know, I go riding and give fantasy football advice on electric scooter. Probably the only person in the fantasy football history to do that. Chiefs coach says they're using a running back by committee. Yeah, Backstreet, we already talked about that a ton. And a lot of teams use a running back by committee. We don't even know what that means. To freak out about that. Now, do you need to take the backups? Yeah, and I've said that all along. If you're drafting Damien Williams without backing him up properly, you're playing with fire. Because that situation is what's amazing, not just AB or Damien. Damien has talent, and Damien looked fantastic, and Damien has finished the year strong. It is time to freak out a little bit, and when I say freak out, I mean drop him from like 2.10 to 3.303 or something. Just make sure you back him up. AB is a super drama queen. Yes, he is. AB should take a lap. If he could... He can't. Snap. AB can't take a lap because his feet are burned off. I'm not worried. I do get your point, though. Just being honest, AB will be fine, Smitty. I agree. I agree that it will probably work out. But you got to worry a little bit and take safer options around where you're taking AB now, I think. I mean, I take Montgomery over AB, you know? Montgomery's now a 2nd rounder. Montgomery and AB swap places for me. Let's just say that. Steelers are saying good riddance. Oh, I already read that. MC, 3rd round, late 4th. If he made it out of the 4th, I would definitely take a chance. Me too. King at the start of the 3rd round and 10-man. Who would you draft and pair with DJ and Evans? Depends who's there, man. That's kind of a loaded question. All right, Instagram, I'm saying goodbye to you. I will see you later. Thank you for joining the Fantasy Football Show. Get on to youtube.com/the Fantasy Football Show. Subscribe and get ready for more shows. Later, Instagram. Oh, we got a little peek of somebody we know real well before I pulled the plug on that. Somebody driving. Somebody drived off a cliff. That's hilarious. All right, guys. I'm out of here. I appreciate all of you. Please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe. Get ready. I'm going live for 24 straight hours on August 23rd, Friday. One of the Fridays coming up. August 23rd, I'm going live for 24 straight hours with you guys, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're there. Set your calendar. Turn on notifications. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Hit the thumbs up on your way out, please. But get ready. 24 straight hours I'm live streaming with you. Friday, August 23rd, and I'm doing a 48-team league draft. You want to get a spot in this league. 4 copies of every player are being thrown into the player pool. So at the turn, the first round, at the end of the first round is pick 48. Pick 49 is the first pick in the second round. And at that turn, you will have the same players available as you would have in a 12-team league because there are 4 copies of every player in the player pool. Be there. Don't miss it. August 23rd at 2 p.m. Eastern, I'm going live for 24 straight hours to talk fantasy football with you. Check on me all day long. I'll be out and about, hitting the streets on the scooter. I'll be eating wings at my favorite wing shop. I'll be shopping. I'll be in the studio. I'll be doing probably some interviews and mock drafts. August 23rd, be there. Don't be late. Later, guys. I appreciate it. Antonio Brown, what are you doing?